Hey Team YouTube, got a couple things I'm going to do today. The first thing is let my crazy cat out. Let's go, Bob. The reason he's called Bob is because he's a Manx and he has a little bob tail. Isn't that cute? This is a WW wood chipper. The model is called a Chippewa. This company has been long out of business. It's out of Kansas, and the technology is from corn grinding, so it's not exactly the kind of mulch people would necessarily prefer if they had to put down those big chip type of mulches. But as you can see here, we're missing a part because I had to take it off because it was heating up and howling, and at some point I think it was also kind of jamming it when I had to try and restart it because it got hot. So let's take a look at what I had to grind off. Alright, Team YouTube, some nights later, on a chilly early evening in the upper Midwest, we are back with the Chippewa WW grinder. Got that new flange bearing. I got some metric washers to fit the bolts from work. I got slightly longer bolts because, of course, I had to stack the washers up. And I wasn't happy with this thing when I took a washer out originally just to make it so it smacked up against the side of the chipper frame, but that seemed like that kind of pinched the bearing and didn't allow it to run well. So now I've got it so you can see there's just a slight gap there, and hopefully not too much chipping debris falls out of that, but even if it does, it's really, kind of no big deal. I could literally just put a piece of tape over it. The original bearing style really wasn't available here. I'm going to get the bearing here. I'll hold it up here for you in a second. Okay, Team YouTube, we had a great fall day here in the upper Midwest. Here is the profile of the original flange bearing that was on the machine. Here's what we got to replace it. I finally got this where I liked it. So what I did is these are some 3/8 bolts, and I stacked up some washers behind it. And if you can tell, there's just a paper thin distance between the sleeve or the bearing and the edge of the machine. So this isn't exactly the replacement, but it was something I could literally find on McMaster-Carr's website. All right, hey Team YouTube, got an assistant here to help me film. And let's just talk about the chipper a little bit more. This was made in 1987, and again, it's made by WW Grinder out of Kansas somewhere. They're out of business. Fortunately, it's a Tecumseh engine. I think it's a 5-horse. It's got a nice serial number right here, so you can still find parts for it online if you're diligent in your searching. I did put a carb on this when I bought it, and let's go ahead and start this bad boy up. I'm just going to show you here. This is pretty nice. For it too last year when I was chipping a lot of stuff. Alright, now the one thing I did notice is that the bearing, the old bearing, I would put my hand on it after it had run a little bit, and it would be hot to the touch. This one here, I ran it for a few minutes the other day, and it was a little bit warm, but it was certainly not hot to the touch. And it's because, like I said, in that other clips I've got, you could see where the grease just kind of dried up and ran out of the bearing. So this is definitely an upgrade. It definitely holds the shaft nice and straight. So I'm just gonna, Team YouTube, I think I'm just going to show you some capacity for this. What can this thing, really do as far as using one of these in your yard? So they say this chipper can do up to a 2-inch diameter branch. We've got something here that's pretty close. It's not super dry yet. It looks like it just kind of fell the other day. I have willows to essentially shed. But let's go ahead and see what this thing can do. So this is the kind of wood chips you get out of this chipper. It's adequate for mulch, but if you are expecting something really nice like the mulch you can buy at Home Depot or whatever, that's really, you know, really not the same kind of thing. But I use it, and I just put it around the trees just to keep the grass from growing, keep it one less place I got to mow. All right, Team YouTube, got about 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch branch here, and this one's pretty dry, so let's just see what this thing can really do.